how did they get the Corsairs over to Pearl Harbor?
Well, they put them aboard a jeep carrier along with us, and we took us about 7 days, 6 days, I think it was, to get to Pearl. And once we got to flying out of Hawaii, we qualified at night aboard the USS Essex, one of the carriers, and our squadron was split into 2 segments. One with Chick Harmer went aboard the Enterprise. The executive officer of the squadron was a fellow by the name of Kohlberg, and he took his half, the pilots, and went aboard the Intrepid. And so that's kind of up to date before we went into combat.
All right. So what were your feelings? What were your thoughts, your anticipations about being sent into combat?
I don't, it's, I can only speak for myself, and I don't recall any particular anxiety. I enjoyed my flying. I felt I had confidence in our training, although it was very rudimentary. We had the first radar that they put into small planes, and we had a fighter director that would tell us where to fly to intercept another aircraft. We didn't get a lot of actual training because I think the delivery of our radar equipment wasn't where we got an awful lot of practice before we were sent overseas. But we did get radio altimeters installed in our aircraft when we were at Barber's Point, which was much more accurate than the pressure, atmospheric pressure altimeter. And we could get down, 10, 15 feet off the water like a night. And so that was, felt confident in flying low water intercepts or low altitude intercepts.
Tell me, Bob, do you recall what, had you heard about Chick Harmer and what his reputation or experience was, and what was your original impression of Chick Harmer?
Well, I knew little about Chick Harmer, but he was our skipper, and he was training us. I remember one time we went up on an aerial gunnery. This was daytime, shooting at a sleeve like a windsock at the airport that was being towed by another airplane. We had live bullets, and each pilot had a set of bullets that were dipped. The points were dipped in different colors of paint. So we knew who shot. If bullets penetrated that sleeve, it left a color around the hole. And so we could tell who made the most hits. And I remember coming back from one and with your dad, and I had more holes on it than he did.
Way to go!
And he was a little miffed, I think. I felt good. But he put us through the training, and
So this was after 1944. You both came back to the States and did test pilot work?
Your dad was assigned as, I think, chief flight instructor at a night fighter training base in Vero Beach, Florida. Naval Air Station, Vero Beach, Florida.
This was about what year?
And this was in 40. Well, he went there in the latter part of 44, I think. But I didn't get down there until April of 45, and was there for a couple of years.
So that's where Chick Harmer went after his tour of duty on the Enterprise.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then he invited you down, and you went down and joined him as a test pilot?
Yes, he was chief flight instructor, I think, at the early end of his assignment. And then he moved up in the ranks and or the responsibilities there. And I can't tell you just what his titles were. But there was another pilot that went with Gus Whithelm in that first group by the name of, what was his name? I'm not recalling it right at the moment. But I think he became the chief flight instructor, and your dad fulfilled some other duties.
Well, okay, Bob, I think that is a great review of your personal history and also of the beginning of night fighter flying with the Corsair F4U and your involvement with that, and a little insight into my dad's involvement. I think that is really great. So I'll tell you what, we will close off the interview at this point and come back when we start going through the journal.
Okay.
All right, Bob, I'll hit my save button here and we shall move on. Thank you very much.